In the quiet moments of reflection, when the noise of the world fades away, the question arises, why does evil exist in a world created by a benevolent God? This question has troubled the minds of philosophers, theologians, and ordinary people. Throughout history, it is a mystery wrapped in paradox. How can a perfect, all-loving, all-powerful deity permit suffering, pain, and cruelty to persist? Many have sought answers in sacred texts, ancient philosophies, and personal experiences. Some argue that evil is necessary for free will to truly exist. Others believe it is a test or a punishment. Yet, the pain endured by innocent beings' children, struck by illness, communities devastated by natural disasters challenges any simple explanation. Free will is often cited as a central piece in this puzzle. Without the capacity to choose, love and goodness would lose their meaning. The freedom to decide between right and wrong makes moral choices authentic. However, this freedom also opens the door to moral failings, selfishness, and malevolence. Evil, in this sense, is the shadow cast by human liberty. Yet, not all suffering stems from human choices. Natural evil, earthquakes, floods, diseases strikes indiscriminately, bringing misery to those least deserving. This type of suffering prompts us to look beyond human responsibility and question the role of divine will. Some philosophers suggest that suffering serves a higher purpose. It acts as a crucible, refining character and nurturing virtues such as patience, compassion, and resilience. The soul's journey is not meant to be easy. Hardships catalyze growth and deeper understanding. The soul-making theodicy, proposed by philosopher John Hick, views the world as a school for souls. Here, challenges and suffering are opportunities for moral and spiritual development. This perspective sees evil not as an absence of God, but as a necessary condition for meaningful growth. Moreover, evil exposes the limits of human knowledge. We see only fragments of the vast cosmic tapestry, unable to grasp the full picture. What appears as evil from a limited viewpoint might be part of a greater harmony. Beyond our understanding, as the story unfolds, the question remains a question without a definitive answer, yet one that invites us to seek wisdom, compassion, and humility. The presence of evil challenges us to find meaning amid suffering and to embody the goodness that counters it in the midst of suffering. People often ask why a loving God would allow such pain. This question cuts deep into the human heart because suffering feels personal, unfair, and often senseless. Yet, many spiritual traditions teach that suffering is not merely a punishment or a random act of cruelty. It is part of the process that shapes our souls. Consider the analogy of a sculptor. A rough block of marble has the potential to become a beautiful statue, but the process involves chiseling, shaping, and sometimes breaking away parts of the stone. Similarly, life's difficulties can be seen as the chisel shaping the character and spirit of a person. Furthermore, the existence of evil challenges humanity to choose. Without evil, there would be no real choice, no contrast to define good. Goodness requires its opposite. Light needs darkness to be seen. This duality is not just a human construct, but a fundamental aspect of reality. Some argue that evil is an illusion, merely a lack of good rather than a presence on its own. This idea, rooted in certain philosophical and theological traditions, suggests that evil is not a created thing, but the absence or distortion of goodness, much like darkness. is the absence of light. However, this perspective does not lessen the reality of suffering. Whether evil is a thing or a lack, its impact on lives is undeniable. Pain and injustice are real experiences that demand responses from individuals and communities. Human beings have the capacity to respond to evil with courage, kindness, and love. Many religious teachings emphasize the role of compassion and service in countering evil. In this sense, the presence of evil invites a higher expression of human potential. The question of divine justice also arises. Why do some suffer more than others? Why do the wicked sometimes prosper while the innocent endure? Hardship? These questions resist easy answers and have fueled theological debates for centuries. Some traditions propose the concept of karma, or moral cause and effect, where actions in this life or previous lives influence current circumstances. Others suggest that ultimate justice may lie beyond this earthly existence, in an afterlife or spiritual realm. Still, many find solace in the belief that suffering is temporary and that divine love ultimately triumphs over evil. This hope sustains millions through their darkest moments and motivates acts of courage and resilience thought in moments of despair. Many turn inward, seeking meaning beyond the visible pain. This inward journey often leads to deeper questions about existence, purpose, and the nature of God. The presence of evil challenges believers to wrestle with their faith, sometimes shaking the foundations of their beliefs, yet often strengthening them through a more profound understanding. Some mystics and spiritual teachers have suggested that evil serves as a teacher, a harsh but necessary one. By confronting darkness, one learns the value of light. By experiencing suffering, one cultivates empathy and compassion. These lessons cannot be fully grasped in times of comfort and ease. Furthermore, evil forces humanity to confront its limitations. It reminds us that we are not all-powerful and that control is often an illusion. This humility can be a doorway to spiritual growth, fostering reliance on something greater than ourselves. Why the attempt to justify God's goodness in the face of evil takes many forms across cultures. Some emphasize God's inscrutable wisdom. Others highlight human free will and responsibility. Yet, no single explanation fully satisfies everyone. In many traditions, God's allowance of evil is seen as part of a divine mystery, a reality beyond human comprehension. This mystery invites faith and trust in the unseen, even when circumstances seem bleak. Moreover, the existence of evil underscores the importance of human agency. It calls on individuals to act to resist injustice, to alleviate suffering, and to cultivate goodness. In this way, evil becomes not just a challenge, but an opportunity for heroic action and moral courage. The struggle against evil is woven into the fabric of human history. Stories of resilience, sacrifice, and redemption inspire generations to persevere and to believe in a better future. Ultimately, the question of why God allows evil remains open-ended. It is a question that invites continual reflection, dialogue, and exploration. It challenges us to seek not only answers, but also a deeper engagement with the mysteries of existence. In the midst of darkness, hope persists. Even when evil seems overwhelming, the human spirit often finds a way to endure, to resist, and to overcome. This resilience is a testament to the strength that suffering can forge within us. Throughout history, Countless individuals have faced unimaginable hardships, and yet emerged with a renewed sense of purpose and compassion. Their stories remind us that evil, while powerful, does not have the final word. The presence of evil also deepens our appreciation for goodness. Acts of kindness shine more brightly against the backdrop of cruelty. Love becomes more profound. When contrasted with hatred, in this interplay between light and darkness, life takes on a richer, more complex meaning. It becomes a canvas where the human experience unfolds in all its depth, pain and joy, loss and hope, despair and faith. From a spiritual perspective, some teach that evil is a necessary counterpart to good, a force that challenges us to grow beyond ourselves. It is through confronting adversity that we awaken to our true potential and discover the divine within. Others suggest that evil serves as a catalyst for transformation, pushing individuals and societies toward greater awareness, justice, and compassion. The struggles against injustice throughout history have often led to profound social change and moral progress at the same time. The mystery of evil humbles us. It reminds us that there are limits to human understanding and control. In the face of suffering, we are invited to trust in a wisdom greater than our own. Ultimately, the question of why God allows evil to exist may not have a definitive answer accessible to the human mind. Instead, it challenges us to live with uncertainty, to cultivate faith, and to act with compassion. This journey through doubt, suffering, and hope is a central part of the human experience. It calls us to embrace the complexities of life and to seek meaning in the midst of mystery. As we continue to explore this profound question, we are reminded that the struggle against evil is not only a battle against external forces, but also an inner journey toward light, love, and truth. Life continues to unfold amidst the ongoing tension between good and evil. This duality is not just a philosophical puzzle, but a lived reality for every human being. From the smallest decisions to the grandest acts, the presence of evil shapes our choices and tests our character. But it also invites us to rise above it, to create meaning, beauty, and love in spite of the shadows. The world's history is marked by moments when evil seemed to triumph, wars, oppression, and injustice, casting long shadows over humanity. Yet, even in the darkest times, acts of courage and kindness shine through, reminding us that goodness has a resilient and enduring presence. This resilience reflects a deeper truth, that the human spirit is not easily broken. We are capable of profound compassion, forgiveness, and hope. These qualities enable us to confront evil not merely with resistance, but with transformative love. Moreover, the question of evil invites us to consider the nature of divine justice. Many traditions hold that justice transcends this earthly life, that there is a reckoning beyond what we see. This belief offers comfort to those who suffer unjustly, affirming that wrongs will ultimately be made right. At the same time, it challenges us to act justly here and now. If ultimate justice is beyond our reach, the responsibility to fight injustice falls squarely on human shoulders. This call to action is a powerful response to the existence of evil. In confronting evil, communities often come together to heal and rebuild. This collective effort underscores the importance of solidarity, empathy, and shared humanity. Through these bonds, individuals find strength to overcome even the most daunting challenges. On a personal level, the presence of evil can lead to profound spiritual awakenings. Facing suffering often prompts questions about purpose, faith, and the nature of existence. These moments can deepen one's connection to the divine and foster a renewed sense of meaning. The journey through Peru. Suffering is not linear. It involves setbacks, doubts, and moments of despair. Yet, it also holds the potential for growth, transformation, and renewal. This paradox is at the heart of the human condition. In many religious teachings, the trials and tribulations of life are seen as opportunities for purification. Just as gold is refined by fire, the soul is believed to be purified through suffering, emerging stronger and more radiant. The process of spiritual purification is often described as a journey that requires patience, endurance, and trust. It is not easy to embrace suffering, especially when it feels unjust or overwhelming. Yet, many have found that through surrender and faith, pain becomes a catalyst for deeper insight and compassion. Evil, in its many forms, challenges us to cultivate virtues that might otherwise remain dormant. Courage arises in the face of fear. Forgiveness blossoms amidst betrayal. Hope shines despite despair. These responses to evil are not automatic, but require conscious effort and often divine assistance. The struggle against evil is also a call to cultivate wisdom. Understanding the complexities of good and evil helps us navigate life's moral landscape with greater clarity. This wisdom includes recognizing our own imperfections and the ways we might contribute, however unintentionally, to the suffering around us. Moreover, the existence of evil highlights the importance of community. No one faces suffering alone, and support from others can be a powerful force for healing. Acts of kindness and solidarity can counterbalance the effects of cruelty and neglect. Throughout history, stories of redemption demonstrate that even those who have caused great harm can change. This possibility offers hope that evil is not an absolute state, but a condition that can be overcome through transformation. In addition, the presence of evil invites philosophical reflection on the nature of free will. The capacity to choose is central to human dignity, yet it comes with the risk of misuse. The existence of evil thus underscores the weight of moral responsibility. Some have suggested that God's allowance of evil respects human freedom, even at great cost. This respect for freedom implies a trust in humanity's potential to grow beyond evil and to embrace good willingly. At the same time, the mystery of evil reminds us that some questions remain unanswered. The limits of human understanding do not diminish the reality of suffering, nor do they excuse cruelty or injustice. Instead, these mysteries call for humility and compassion, urging us to act with kindness even when answers elude us. The weight of suffering often leads people to question not only the existence of evil, but also the nature of God's involvement in the world. If God is all-powerful and all-loving, why does He permit such pain and injustice? This paradox is at the heart of theodicy, the philosophical and theological attempt to reconcile divine goodness with the reality of evil. One perspective holds that God's allowance of evil is a necessary condition for human growth and moral development. Without challenges and adversity, virtues like courage, empathy, and perseverance might never emerge. These qualities are forged in the crucible of hardship, making the soul stronger and more resilient. Yet, this does not mean that evil is good in itself. Rather, it is permitted as part of a larger divine plan that is often beyond human comprehension. The idea that all things work together for good provides comfort to many. suggesting that even suffering has a place in the ultimate scheme of things. Additionally, some argue that evil exists because the world is a place of free agent beings capable of making genuine choices. With free will comes the possibility of choosing evil, and this freedom is essential for authentic love and relationship with God. However, the misuse of free will has led to profound suffering, both through individual actions and systemic injustices. Recognizing this responsibility calls humanity to accountability and repentance. The concept of original sin in certain religious traditions explains evil as a consequence of the first human disobedience. This event introduced moral corruption and suffering into the world, affecting all of creation. Yet, redemption and restoration remained central themes, offering hope that evil is not the final reality. From another angle, the problem of evil also raises questions about divine justice. Why do the innocent suffer while the wicked prosper? This apparent injustice challenges believers to trust in a justice that transcends earthly life and eternal judgment, where true justice will be realized. In the meantime, the existence of evil motivates many to engage in acts of compassion, charity, and social justice. These efforts reflect a commitment to embodying divine goodness in a broken world. The presence of evil also highlights the interconnectedness of all beings. Suffering in one part of the world resonates everywhere, calling for global empathy and solidarity. Modern discussions on the problem of evil have expanded to include not only moral evil, but also natural evil, disasters, diseases, and suffering that arise apart from human actions. These forms of evil are especially challenging to explain, but are often seen as opportunities for communal response and spiritual growth. Philosophers and theologians continue to explore these issues, recognizing that no single explanation can fully resolve the mystery. Instead, the dialogue encourages humility, faith, and active engagement with the realities of the world. Ultimately, the question of why God allows evil invites us to live with paradox, to hold both faith and doubt, and to choose love and goodness in spite of suffering. The existence of evil in a world governed by a benevolent God remains one of the most profound mysteries confronting humanity. This enigma challenges not only our intellect, but also our deepest emotions and faith. Yet, it is within this tension between belief and doubt that the human spirit often finds its greatest strength. Life's harsh realities compel us to confront the limitations of human understanding. We see suffering, injustice, and cruelty unfold daily, often without apparent reason or resolution. This experience can lead to despair, anger, or even a crisis of faith. However, many have discovered that these very struggles open the door to a deeper spiritual awareness. In the face of evil, individuals are invited to develop virtues such as patience, humility, and compassion. These qualities are often forged through trials and hardship. The journey through suffering is rarely straightforward. It involves grappling with difficult questions about meaning, purpose, and the nature of God. Sometimes, the answers are elusive, and the silence of the divine can feel overwhelming. Yet, this silence is not necessarily absence. Some spiritual traditions teach that God's presence may be hidden, working quietly behind the scenes, even in the darkest moments. This concept encouraged believers to trust beyond what they can see or understand. Furthermore, evil serves as a mirror reflecting the human condition. It reveals our capacity for both harm and healing, cruelty and kindness. This duality challenges us to choose consciously, shaping our character and destiny. The problem of evil also highlights the importance of free will. The freedom to choose good or evil is fundamental to human dignity. Without this freedom, love and morality would be meaningless. However, this freedom carries great responsibility. The misuse of free will has led to much suffering and injustice. Recognizing this calls us to accountability and the pursuit of righteousness. Some suggest that evil exists as a consequence of a fallen world, a concept rooted in certain religious traditions. This view acknowledges the brokenness of creation and points toward the hope of redemption and restoration. Redemption stories throughout history offer powerful testimony to the transformative power of love and grace. They demonstrate that even the deepest wounds can be healed and evil can be overcome. In this light, suffering and evil are not the final word, but part of a larger narrative of hope and renewal. This perspective invites us to participate actively in the work of healing and justice. The process of healing in the face of evil is often gradual and complex. It requires courage to confront pain, forgiveness to release bitterness, and hope to envision a future beyond suffering. This journey is deeply personal, yet it resonates with universal themes across cultures and religions. Many find solace in community sharing their burdens and supporting one another. The collective strength of compassion can counteract the isolating effects of evil and suffering. Moreover, the existence of evil compels societies to establish laws, moral codes, and systems of justice. These structures aim to curb wrongdoing and protect the vulnerable. The ongoing pursuit of justice reflects humanity's commitment to confronting evil constructively. At the individual level, ethical teachings across traditions emphasize virtues such as honesty, kindness, and generosity as antidotes to evil. Cultivating these virtues helps create a more harmonious world and fosters inner peace. Philosophers have also explored the idea that evil plays a role in the development of consciousness. By facing challenges and moral dilemmas, individuals gain self-awareness and moral insight. This growth is not always easy or comfortable, but it contributes to the maturation of the soul. Through struggle, people come to understand their interconnectedness with others and their responsibility for the world. Additionally, some traditions highlight the redemptive power of suffering itself. Rather than viewing suffering solely as a negative experience, it can be seen as an opportunity for transformation and spiritual awakening. This perspective encourages embracing suffering with dignity and meaning, finding ways to transcend pain through faith and purpose. Despite these insights, the question of why God allows evil remains deeply personal and often unanswerable. Each individual's journey is unique, shaped by their experiences, beliefs, and reflections. The tension between faith and doubt, hope and despair, is a dynamic space where meaning is created and renewed. It invites ongoing dialogue and exploration. Rather than definitive conclusions. In facing evil, people often discover the depths of their own resilience and the power of love to heal wounds. This discovery is a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Throughout human history, the struggle to understand and confront evil has shaped civilizations, philosophies, and religions. The quest to reconcile the existence of suffering with belief in a benevolent God has inspired profound reflections and courageous acts alike. It is a question that touches the essence of what it means to be human. Evil's persistence in the world challenges the simplistic notion of a flawless, pain-free existence. Instead, life presents a complex tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow, light and darkness. This interplay compels individuals to seek deeper meanings and to engage actively with the moral dimensions of their lives. The reality of evil also emphasizes the importance of hope. Even when circumstances seem bleak, hope offers a lifeline, assurance that good can ultimately prevail. This hope is not naive optimism, but a grounded confidence rooted in faith, experience, and the resilience of the human spirit. Many spiritual teachings affirm that evil will not have the final word. They envision a future where justice is fully realized, wounds are healed, and harmony is restored. This eschatological hope provides strength to endure present sufferings and motivates efforts to alleviate injustice. In the meantime, the presence of evil calls for compassionate action. It urges individuals and communities to respond with kindness, advocacy, and solidarity. These responses embody the values that counteract suffering and promote healing. Moreover, the confrontation with evil invites continuous self-examination. It challenges people to recognize their own potential for harm and goodness, encouraging a path of moral growth and accountability. The acknowledgement of evil's reality also fosters empathy. Understanding suffering deepens our capacity to care for others, bridging divides and nurturing connections across differences. At the intersection of theology, philosophy, and human experience lies a profound mystery, one that may never be fully resolved but continues to inspire faith and reflection. The question, why does God allow evil, remains a catalyst for seeking truth and embracing the complexities of existence. Ultimately, this question calls each person to a personal journey, one that involves wrestling with doubt, cultivating compassion, and choosing love despite the presence of evil. It is a journey marked by courage, humility, and hope. As we navigate this path, we are reminded that the struggle against evil is not solitary. It is a shared human endeavor, one that unites us across cultures, beliefs, and generations in the pursuit of a more just and compassionate world. The presence of evil in the world challenges our understanding of divine goodness and power. It compels us to reconsider the relationship between God and creation and the role human beings play in this complex dynamic. This inquiry has led to many interpretations and responses throughout history, each offering unique insights and reflections. One perspective emphasizes the concept of free will as central to the existence of evil. According to this view, God granted humanity the freedom to choose, allowing for genuine love and moral responsibility. However, this freedom also includes the possibility of choosing evil, which brings suffering into the world. The paradox of free will is that it both empowers and endangers. It enables creativity, goodness, and love, but also opens the door to selfishness, cruelty, and destruction. This tension is a defining feature of the human experience. Another approach considers evil as a necessary contrast to good. Without darkness, light loses its meaning. Without suffering, joy would be less profound. This duality invites a deeper appreciation of the full spectrum of life's experiences. Theological traditions often depict evil as a temporary condition, one that will ultimately be overcome by divine justice and mercy. This eschatological hope reassures believers that the current presence of evil is not permanent, and that a restoration of harmony awaits thought in this context. Suffering can be seen as a refining process, a trial that purifies and strengthens the soul. The imagery of fire refining gold is frequently used to describe how adversity can lead to spiritual growth. Moreover, many spiritual teachings highlight the role of compassion as a response to evil. Compassion not only alleviates suffering but also connects individuals in a profound way, fostering empathy and solidarity. The challenge lies in embodying this compassion consistently, especially when confronted with overwhelming evil or injustice. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to face discomfort. Human history is filled with examples of such courage. Individuals and communities who have stood against evil through acts of love, sacrifice, and resilience. These stories inspire hope and demonstrate the power of goodness. At the same time, the question of evil invites ongoing philosophical reflection. Scholars and thinkers have explored various explanations, acknowledging that no single theory fully captures the complexity of the issue. Some propose that evil serves a cosmic purpose, contributing to the unfolding of a divine plan beyond human understanding. Others suggest that evil results from a fundamental imperfection in creation or the consequences of spiritual rebellion. Regardless of the explanation, the reality of evil demands a response, not only intellectual, but also moral and spiritual. It calls on individuals to engage actively with the world, promoting justice, healing, and peace. This engagement transforms the question from one of despair to one of hope and responsibility. It recognizes that while evil exists, human beings have the capacity to resist and overcome it through love and action. The presence of evil also invites us to reconsider our understanding of God's nature. Traditional views often portray God as omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. Yet, the existence of evil challenges how these attributes coexist with the reality of suffering. Some theologians propose that God's omnipotence is self-limited, allowing human freedom to flourish without divine interference in every instance. This view suggests that God respects human autonomy to such an extent that suffering is sometimes a consequence of that freedom. Others interpret God's benevolence not as preventing evil entirely, but as working through it to bring about greater goods. In this perspective, suffering and evil can have redemptive value, contributing to spiritual growth, character development, and deeper compassion. The mystery of evil thus becomes a profound invitation to trust in a divine wisdom beyond human comprehension. It encouraged believers to maintain faith even when faced with inexplicable suffering. Furthermore, the reality of evil highlights the importance of human cooperation with the divine. God's work is seen not as unilateral, but as a partnership, where humans participate in healing and transforming the world. This partnership calls for active engagement in social justice, charity, and peacemaking. It emphasizes that faith without works is incomplete, and that believers have a moral obligation to confront evil at the same time. The presence of evil challenges communities to create spaces for healing and reconciliation. Forgiveness plays a critical role in breaking cycles of violence and bitterness. The process of forgiveness is often difficult and complex, requiring empathy and humility. It does not mean excusing wrongdoing, but rather releasing the hold of resentment to allow for restoration. Many spiritual traditions teach that forgiveness liberates both the victim and the perpetrator, opening the way for renewed relationships and peace. In addition, the question of evil urges societies to reflect on systemic and structural causes of suffering. Issues such as poverty, inequality, and oppression are forms of evil that require collective action. Addressing these issues involves not only charitable acts, but also advocacy for justice and systemic change. It requires recognizing the dignity of every person and working to create conditions that foster flourishing. The global nature of many forms of evil today calls for international solidarity and cooperation. Environmental degradation, human trafficking, and war affect people across borders and demand unified responses. In this interconnected world, the problem of evil is not merely theoretical, but urgent and practical. It compels us to live out the principles of justice and compassion daily. Moreover, confronting evil encourages a deeper appreciation for the fragile beauty of life. It teaches gratitude for moments of peace and joy amid uncertainty. The tension between good and evil also invites artistic and cultural expressions that explore these themes. Literature, music, and visual arts provide outlets for processing suffering and envisioning hope. These creative expressions contribute to collective healing and inspire action. They remind us that while evil is present, human creativity and spirit are powerful forces for good. Ultimately, the question of why God allows evil challenges us to embrace mystery, to act with courage, and to nurture hope. It calls for a faith that is active, engaged, and compassionate. This faith acknowledges the reality of suffering but refuses to be defeated by it. Instead, it seeks to transform pain into purpose and despair into determination. As we journey through this profound question, we are invited to live with humility, recognizing both the limits of our understanding and the boundless capacity for love. The struggle against evil is ongoing, but it is also a journey of growth, transformation, and hope. In this journey, each person has a role to play, choosing goodness, standing against injustice, and embodying compassion. Through these choices, we participate in a larger story, a story of redemption, healing, and ultimate restoration. It is a story that affirms life, celebrates resilience, and honors the divine presence even amid suffering. The question of why God allows evil has been a central concern for thinkers, believers, and seekers throughout history. This enduring mystery invites us to explore the depths of human experience and the nature of the divine with honesty and courage. In the final analysis, the presence of evil serves as a profound backdrop against which the beauty of goodness is illuminated. Without darkness, light loses its brilliance. Without suffering, joy would lack its sweetness. Our responses to evil shape the narrative of our lives and the world we inhabit. Each act of kindness, each moment of courage, contributes to the ongoing struggle for justice and peace. Many find that their faith is strengthened, not weakened, by wrestling with the reality of evil. This struggle deepens their understanding and opens them to compassion for others who suffer. The journey through evil is not one of defeat, but of transformation. It calls for resilience and hope, virtues that enable individuals and communities to rise above pain and injustice. Moreover, the presence of evil challenges us to embrace a holistic vision of life, one that includes both light and shadow, joy and sorrow. This balanced perspective fosters wisdom and empathy. Throughout this journey, love remains the most powerful force. It heals wounds, bridges divides, and nurtures growth. Love transcends the barriers erected by evil and offers a path toward reconciliation and peace. In the end, the mystery of evil may never be fully solved, but it can be embraced as part of the human condition, a condition marked by free will, moral responsibility, and the capacity for profound goodness. This acceptance invites us to live with humility and grace, recognizing that we are part of a larger story, a story woven with threads of suffering and hope, darkness and light. As we face the realities of evil, we are called to choose our response: despair or hope, resignation or action, hatred or love. The choice is ours, and it shapes not only our lives but the world around us. In embracing this responsibility, we participate in the divine work of healing and restoration. We become co-creators of a future where justice prevails, suffering is alleviated, and peace endures. This vision inspires generations to work toward a world where evil no longer holds sway. A world where every being can live in dignity and harmony. Thus, the question, why does God allow evil, is not only a challenge but also an invitation to grow, to act, and to hope. It calls us to be bearers of light in a world often shadowed by darkness. Throughout the course of human existence, evil has manifested in many forms: personal pain, social injustice, natural disasters, and moral failings. These realities challenge our perceptions and compel us to seek understanding and meaning beyond immediate. One way to approach the problem of evil is through the lens of human free will. The capacity to choose is fundamental to human dignity and the development of authentic relationships. God's gift of freedom entails the risk of choosing wrongly, which results in suffering. Yet, without this freedom, love and goodness would lose their significance. Forced goodness is not genuine, and love without choice is hollow. Thus, the presence of evil is an unfortunate consequence of a world where free will exists. Additionally, the concept of soul-making offers insight into why evil might be permitted. According to this view, the trials and challenges we face contribute to spiritual growth and moral development. Like a sculptor chiseling stone, suffering shapes character and deepens understanding. This process is not instantaneous but gradual, often marked by setbacks and pain. Nonetheless, it holds the promise of transformation and redemption. The existence of evil also highlights the interconnectedness of all beings. Our actions affect others, and collective responsibility emerges as a crucial theme. Addressing evil requires cooperation, empathy, and a commitment to justice. In many religious traditions, the promise of ultimate restoration provides hope amid suffering. This eschatological vision assures that evil will be conquered and creation will be renewed in harmony and peace. Meanwhile, the presence of evil calls for active engagement. It challenges us to respond with compassion, courage, and advocacy for the oppressed and vulnerable. Forgiveness emerges as a vital practice in healing the wounds caused by evil. It frees individuals and communities from the cycle of hatred and retaliation, opening pathways toward reconciliation. At a broader level, confronting evil demands systemic change. Addressing poverty, discrimination, and violence requires societal commitment and policy reform. Moreover, the awareness of evil in the world encourages humility. It reminds us of our limitations and the mystery surrounding divine providence. Faith, in this context, becomes a source of strength and guidance. It sustains hope and motivates ethical action, even when answers are elusive. Ultimately, the question of why God allows evil invites a personal response. Each individual must wrestle with doubt, cultivate compassion, and choose love. This journey is marked by moments of struggle and grace, despair and hope. It shapes not only our worldview, but also our character as we navigate this profound question. We participate in a shared human endeavor to bring light into darkness through our choices and actions. We affirm the possibility of goodness prevailing. This affirmation is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring presence of divine love. In conclusion, while the mystery of evil may remain, our response defines our humanity. Choosing hope, compassion, and justice transforms the world and honors the divine image within us all. The struggle against evil is not the end, but beginning a call to live courageously and love unconditionally.